What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Apologies, people, yesterday. There's a long transfer window. I had to take the day off, was visiting family and this, that, the other. But we're back, people, back again, back in the mix. Arsenal, the gift that keeps on giving. Hope you are all safe and well, people. And, a lot can happen in 24 hours. While I was away, Arsenal won a game of football. I can't believe it. Like, what happened? They won. We only win when there's no fans there. We only win when we play behind closed doors, by the look of it, people. Arsenal beat Brentford yesterday. And, 4-0 victory behind closed doors at the training ground. They're great when there's no cameras there, when no one's watching. And, good victory, confidence booster. Maybe that'll give them some confidence going into the game against Norwich. But big up to all of you in the chat. Apparently, we've hit 100 likes already, and we've only just started. Apologies for turning up late, people. Lateness is greatness, as they say. Big up to JM. Curtis Shaw to be late. Appreciate the super chat, bro. Camille said they had the revenge. Oh, yeah, beautiful. We beat you in a behind closed doors friendly game that means pretty much nothing. And you beat us in a vital Premier League game that we desperately needed to win. People saying is the sound a bit off? See, this is what I'm saying, people. Let me just double check with the sound because it shouldn't be off. Let me check. Yeah. All right, let's see. Let me know if that's any better, people. Let me know if that's any better. Let me know in the comments if that sounds better and we'll carry on. Sound is good. There you go. Should be fine now, people. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. We're good to go. Right. We got a bit of headline news. Arsenal won a game of football, and we're also continuing to be linked with players. Even though these are... Where are we going to start? You know what? Let's start off with the player we're being linked with, because I'm telling you now, people, we didn't give up Highbury for this. We didn't give up Highbury to be signing free transfers who've been thrown away by our rivals. This would be the most Mikel Arteta move ever if this happens. It would be the most Arsenal mid-table mediocrity move ever if this happens. Serge Aurier has been offered to Arsenal. According to Arteta's decision, Arsenal can start talks with the player. I remember sitting here when we were being linked with Nuno Tavares, and I had nothing against Nuno. He looks like a decent player. But obviously we know the kind of little madness that was going on. You know what? We'll end up signing him. When we wanted Ramsdale for 30 million, I said, we'll end up getting him. This one... Surely this can't happen. Serge Aurier has been paid off. He had a year left on his contract at Tottenham, and they paid him off to leave. Apparently, he's been clashing with the manager. Of course, he was highly rated. He was at PSG, and everyone thought at the time he was going to sign for Arsenal. He's an Arsenal fan, apparently. He had pictures of him in the past wearing Arsenal shirts, this, that, the other. And he's now being linked with Arsenal on a free transfer. Why? Why would... Right, apologies, people. We should be back now. People said the sound was playing up. Let me know if you can hear me all right, people. Let me know if you can hear me all right. The sound was playing up, so I had to unplug it and go back in. Arteta cut it off. I'm telling you, I don't know what's going on. Let me know in the comments. Can you hear? Are we back? Are we back? Are we all right? Yeah, people saying it's better now. Jeez, it's moving mad. I'm telling you, Arteta's cutting me out, bro. Yeah, but listen, Serge Aurier, of course, was linked with Arsenal before he left PSG and went to Tottenham. We can't be going for a player like that. So I personally hope this one doesn't happen at all. Zane said, "Hey, Big C, hope you're well. You have 35k subs, are competing with Fogden, who has 700k in the content awards. It's a great achievement. Love the content, and everybody smash the likes, people. Big up, Zane." He was saying the audio was cutting off again. People, what's going on today? We're having a nightmare on Elm Street. Right, looks like we're back. Chelsea rejects to Spurs rejects. Come on, man, give us a break. If Tottenham are throwing him out the door and saying, we don't want him, we'll let him go for free because we don't rate him, why on earth would we be going for him and potentially giving him according to this report, he could be getting a 4-year contract if he comes here. Camille said, listen, I strongly ask to stop criticising club owner and manager. They do really great. I wouldn't want to see anything else as a supporter of Chelsea. Yeah, you wouldn't mind that, would you? You wouldn't mind Aurier coming to Arsenal. So you could just, buy raters and say you're buying players that Tottenham are throwing out the door. Imagine what Tottenham will be thinking, we just dashed Aurier out the door and Arsenal are here apparently giving him a 4-year contract. Why on earth would we give Aurier a 4-year deal? Where if he can't get in Tottenham's team and do anything good, why would Arsenal give him 4 years? Apparently, he's on 80 grand a week at Spurs as well, which is insane if Arsenal are potentially going down that road. It makes no sense. Arsenal, how many right backs do you want, Mikel? Listen, obviously, we just signed Tomiyasu. We've got Cedric, we've got Chambers, we've got Maitland-Niles, Bellerin's gone. Why on earth would we be going for Serge Aurier as well? He can't displace Doherty. Check and see who his agent is. I'm telling you, it wouldn't surprise you if it was another Edu connection. Would you guys take Serge Aurier? Apparently he's asking for a 4-year contract, which is insane, really. Sabotage. Hire him as Gunnosaurus. People saying it's fake news. Listen, it could be. It could just be his agent throwing news about and trying to get his client a move, which is his job at the end of the day. His job is to try and get him a move. So I can't blame his agent for trying to get him a move. But we can't be bringing him into Arsenal on a 4-year. I don't think he's any better than what we've got. A couple of years ago, he was quite highly rated, but over the last probably 2 years at Tottenham, he hasn't done great in the Premier League, and he's really struggled. All right, people, we should be back now. Apologies there. It's all going wrong today, people. Sound's moving mad. Should be all right now. Should be all right. Right, let's move on. Hopefully the sound is fine now, people. The wire, I must have been caught on something. I said Arteta's got him. Still over 1,100 of you in the chat, people. Really appreciate the support. Arsenal won a game of football yesterday. At last, they beat Brentford. You could see from the glaring smile on Martinelli's face that we finally won a game. Man said Arteta, aka certified loser boy. Oh dear, he's not quite Drake, who obviously his album came out. I was actually listening to that this morning as well. But Arsenal have won a game, 4-0 against Brentford. I didn't even know we were playing. I didn't even know until they announced it after and said, we've won a game. But it's not the game that we wanted to win. Let's be honest. We needed to beat Brentford 2 weeks ago in the Premier League and get 3 points. We ain't got time to be winning behind closed doors friendlies. And, when you look at the report, 4 second-half goals were enough to give us a comfortable win over Brentford in a behind closed doors friendly at London Colney on Thursday. Ben White and Gabriel started in a 3-man central defence. Both came through unscathed after recent illness and injury problems. And let's just skip through. Cedric, who stole the show late on with a well-taken brace. I mean, listen. Against Manchester City, you didn't complete any tackles or win any duels in that game. So I don't think we're in a position to be running around saying, he was the star of the show because he kept a clean sheet against Brentford's reserves. Apparently, Brentford had half their team missing. You can see some of the highlights online, apparently. But it was, valuable workout. That's what Brentford called it, even though they lost, because they had a young team and they weren't particularly bothered by the game. So I don't see why we're, hooting and hollering about the victory. Half their team was missing. If you look at the team that Arsenal played, Ramsdale was in goal. We played a back three. Apparently, the back three was Ben White, Pablo Mari, and Gabriel. Chambers played right wing back, and Cedric played left wing back. With Maitland-Niles and Elneny in midfield. Martinelli was on the left, Lacazette through the middle, and Pepe on the right. As you can see, Gabriel scored. Lacazette scored a free kick, very good free kick, and Cedric scored a couple of late goals. Brought some youngsters on, Hutchinson and Patino, and then Holding came on for Gabriel. What was crazy yesterday, people? I don't know if any of you saw it on the Arsenal site. Goal of the month came out. And Arsenal didn't have a league goal to put up. So we had to put the goals up from the game against West Brom. We also put goals up from the women's team. I mean, we're all over the place if we're having to do that. We're having to put goals up from the Carabao Cup and from the women's team. I mean, there was a couple good goals in there, but come on. Just don't do it this month. We've had a bad month. Just skip it. No one's going to complain if they don't see goal of the month go up this month, So you got to just leave it alone. When you know you've had a bad month, just leave it. Move on. We go again next month, people. Don't start putting up Carabao Cup goals. Goal of the month is aimed at the league. So obviously we had to put cup goals up, but then we're putting the women's team up, and they scored a couple bangers as well. You know what I mean? Ben, I realised, but they usually have their own goal of the month, and we have our own. They had to integrate it into a whole football club goal of the month just to rescue the men's first team because they hadn't done anything. So it's crazy, It's crazy. Bad month at the office for certain. But listen, we're back. We got some Waffle FC to go through, people. The man himself, Mikel, has been speaking every day on Waffling settings. Let's see what he's got to say. This is his first interview since the summer transfer window closed the other day. Arteta was speaking on the win, returning players and transfers. There are a few grey hairs in that beard, man. I'm telling you, there's some stress in there. But let's see. Toby Neath was our best summer signing, no joke. He's a good player. Good player. Aurier or Cedric? I mean, listen. That's not the standards what I'm going to judge on in terms of signing players. Because, listen, Aurier is probably better than Cedric. I can't lie. But to give him a 4-year deal on 80 grand a week, I think we should be leaving that. Mick Ross settings, people. Every day I'm waffling. Here we go. More waffle than bird's eye, people. He is back. We may be on the international break. There may be no press conference. But this guy is still talking. Let's hear what he had to say. It was a valuable run out for our players on Thursday as we beat Brentford 4-0 in a behind closed doors friendly. Yeah, I reckon Arsenal would be better off saying, listen, we don't want no fans back in the stadium, because when we haven't got, when we play behind closed doors, we seem pretty good. So I reckon we should ban the fans from the stadium. That's our only hope right now. But this is what he had to say. On how valuable the game was, he said, yes, we had a possibility to play Brentford again. Yeah, again, my friend, we needed to win that one, though. We had quite a lot of players who needed some minutes, some of them coming back from injuries, some of them after COVID. So it was a good test and a good workout. He was asked about Ben White and Gabriel. Obviously, probably our main two centre-backs who've been out since the start of the season. Camille, big up, bro. He said, one more year, Waffle Bolteta incoming. He won't make the end of the year. Trust me, bro. He won't make the end of this season. He said, yeah, really good. We don't have any big injuries as well. They have the minutes. We could work on some things. So it was a good idea to play the game. And Arsenal played 3 at the back. And I wonder now if Arsenal will go to 3 at the back with Gabriel being back, Ben White, obviously Tomiyasu, who apparently can play right of a back 3 as well. Defensively, we've been getting cut open. So we may move to that. But Curtis, there were no fans last season. Yeah, no, it's true. And it didn't help us at all last season, did it? So, yeah, that probably doesn't make any difference, to be honest. Waffle House settings, people, from Arteta again. Mikel against Nickelodeon. He said, on working with players in the international break, he said, yeah, again, because some of the players coming back from injuries could not travel with the national team, of course. If your national team was traveling to a red list country, you weren't allowed to go on international duty. So a lot of our players have not gone away with their national team. So the majority of them are at the training ground. Some of them, of course, just haven't been picked for whatever reason. He was then asked on the state of the squad going into the Norwich game. We'll see. Well, let's see, because things change every day. So hopefully we will get 3 or 4 back that we missed a lot in the last few weeks. Hopefully we don't lose anyone on internationals. We'll have to see about that. Obviously, Granit Xhaka has tested positive for COVID as well while away with he's been away with the Swiss national team, but obviously they've done their own testing and he's come back positive. He is, of course, going to be out from a few Arsenal games with suspension anyway, but obviously all the best to Granit Xhaka, who will be out with COVID for a short period of time. So he goes on to say after that, he said, on our transfer window strategy, the strategy that we're all trying to get our head round, have we wasted 150 million, people? He said it was a really complicated market. We had a lot of things to do. I think we had 16 or 17 transactions in total, which is a lot. The club has made a big effort. We had support from the owners to try and do it, and we had to recruit in the terms that we could, and I'm very pleased. I mean, listen, I expect him to say all of this. You know, he's not going to turn around and say, you know what, I've just blown 150 million pound on players that I'm not sure I even really want. He's not going to say that. It seems as if I get the impression that the club just give him money and they let them just go and spend it. This is how much you can spend on wages. This is how much you can spend on players. Go and spend the money. The money's there. Do your business. Because it sounds as if him and Edu have had full control of it from what I'm reading. And one thing you can say, the owners have backed him this summer. But as I always say, the problem is, if you're the owner of a company, you need to know what's happening with your money. The care that is needed from the Cronkays is what is severely lacking. They should have really been looking over who we're signing, but I don't think they're football people. So I'm not sure whether the Cronkays even know too much about the level of players that we bring into the football club. So that's where the problem is. Ali Razor said, you've seen the Athletics article on White versus Varane. I mean, this morning, the Athletic has put out an article basically trying to justify why Ben White was a better signing than Varane. They're saying Varane's on 200 and something grand and Ben White's on 80 and Ben White will have potential sell-on value and this, that, the other. Sometimes big clubs don't sign players with the thought of sell-on value. Man United have not signed Cristiano Ronaldo because of sell-on value. They haven't signed Varane because of that either. Sometimes you just sign a player to come and improve your team at that time. And, you make the most of the player that you've got. And Arsenal are out here saying, well, if these players are sold in the future, that the club will make more money off them than some of these younger, some of these older players and this, that, the other. And I'm just like, come on, just focus on the team right now. The Arsenal fans don't have any interest in a player that you may potentially sell, 3 or 4 years down the line. We're interested in what's going on the pitch. Are these guys good enough to win us games right now? Curtis, those days are gone when a half-decent player will sign for Arsenal. I saw people talking about this yesterday on Sky saying, can Arsenal still attract top players? Do the very top players still want to come to Arsenal? And I'm not sure if they do. If we're talking about the top table, I'm not sure that they do, because what can we offer them apart from finance and living in London? We can't offer European football. Most of the top players want to play in Europe. That's for certain. Even if it's Europa League, they want to play in Europe. You can still probably get good players when you're in Europe, but once you go out of Europe, it's difficult. It's difficult. We're not in Europe, and we're not in a position where we can even say, look at our team. We will definitely be in Europe next season. Sean P said, I want the manager gone too, but how many points do you think is the minimum in order for us to salvage the disgraceful start? Good luck on the awards. Big up, bro. Don't forget, all the links are in the description. Anyone who hasn't voted Football Content Awards, all the info is down there, people. And make sure you smash a like and subscribe. We've been getting great numbers. Apologies for the technical difficulties at the start, man. It was all going wrong. But we're back. I believe the next 4 games we've got to get 10 points. We've got to get 10 points, in my opinion. That's 3 wins and a draw, minimum. Norwich has to be a win. If you can't win that, you might as well just walk out. And then we go to Burnley, which is tricky, but I still think we should be going to Burnley and turning them over, to be honest, even if it's a scrappy, hard-fought win. And then we've got Tottenham, difficult. They're in good form. Kane's staying. That'll be hard, but we shouldn't be getting beat to Tottenham at home. They haven't beaten us at home in the league for years. Minimum, get out of that with a point. Then go and play Brighton away and hopefully beat them. Everton beat them last week, and I thought they were pretty comfortable. They dealt with them quite well. So for me, minimum 10 points. Minimum 10 points for Arsenal in the next 4 games. But he would probably get away with 6 or 7. His standards, what he seems to be able to get away with, are totally different, unfortunately. But yeah, for me, 10. We've started the game with 3 defeats. So the only way for us to catch up is to get at least 3 wins out of them next 4 games. But with the team how we're playing at the moment, the way we're lined up, the lack of kind of style at the moment, I think it'll be very difficult for us to get that. I'm going to put slow mode on again in the chat, people, because the comments are flying in and I'm probably missing a lot of them. So I'm going to put slow mode on. I can see a lot of you saying it. It's, as I say, it's always out of respect for you guys, the amount of support I'm getting, over 1,800 of you in the comments. But yeah, for me, minimum 10 points. What would you guys say? Next 4 games, I reckon we'll scrape 5 points. I mean, I think everybody's got Norwich down as a win. Everybody's got Norwich down as a win. But Burnley will be tough. We haven't got a good record at Burnley. And you always worry with all these new young players. Some of them haven't played in the league. Could we go to Burnley and just get beat up? Chris Wood and them, man, just flinging elbows in man's face. They might not deal with them. Machine saying 12 points or bust. Daz Bull says 3 points, 5 to 6 max. 5 to 6 would be shocking. That wouldn't be enough to get Arsenal in a position that they need to be in. We've got to get at least 9 or 10, I would say, to be in any kind of position. Norwich 3 points, Burnley none, Spurs 1, and then Brighton afterwards as well. Christian, what do you think about that one? Comic Klepto said, Curtis, it's like giving a child £10 to buy their own stationery for school, and instead they spend that money on sweets. You couldn't, I'm telling you, he's just giving them money. Go and strengthen the team, and they're buying some crazy players, Big up Comic Klepto. Appreciate that. I haven't seen your name in the comments before. Andrew said, Curtis, I sincerely think we could lose to Norwich. Does anybody in the comments actually think we get beat by Norwich at home? Abhinav, who's a Chelsea fan, said 3 against Norwich, 1 against Burnley, 1 against Tottenham, and a defeat to Brighton. That would be a disaster. 7, said Alan. Guna camera wiper. Don't be slandering Chris Wood, Curtis. He's like Messi to us Kiwis. Listen, he's a good player. He's done well in the Prem. I remember, I think Chelsea wanted him at one stage when they were looking for a target man. Some of you saying, yeah, you think we could? You think we could get beat by Norwich at home? If we lose or draw to Norwich, honestly, you will see the meltdown of all meltdowns. I won't be able to cope with that one. Honestly, that's one I just can't cope with. Brett said 3 against Norwich, 1 against Burnley, 3 against Spurs, 1 against Brighton. So you got us at 8 points there. I don't see it. It will be a gutless draw, said Brennaziris Guna. Let's continue with waffle settings anyway. He said, on signing young players with experience, he put, yes, different experiences. Some had their experience in the league, some abroad, some are being coached in other ways. But they are players we have followed for some time that we knew could fit in the model we are trying to implement. So we are pleased. I mean, all I would say, what happened to the last players that you signed and fitting them in and implementing them in? You know, as Cedric settled into our style? Well, not really. Has Pablo Mari settled in well? Not really. We're still questioning those 2 signings. Thomas Partey is just injured all the time, you know, which he never was in Spain. So something's gone wrong with him. You know, he brought Ceballos back last year. That was a disaster. Gabriel's getting injured quite a lot. Not many of his signings have really settled in and become successors since they've joined the football club. That's the problem, you know? So, yeah, you're saying you've looked at them and this, that, the other, but have any of them really settled in and made a big difference? Which signing under Mikel Arteta has significantly improved this Arsenal team and played on a consistent basis? Daz says waffle settings. Sack our medical team, said Fat Frank. There's got to be an issue why players come to Arsenal and just get injured all the time out of nowhere. Each loss is putting us closer to a riot. He just says the typical thing. Someone just said there, would I take Jack Wilshere back? I wouldn't, just because of the injury situation. I still genuinely believe Jack Wilshere's better than Elneny right now. All day long a better player than Elneny. But he's too injury prone. He went to the Championship last year and still wasn't really that successful. I know Jack Wilshere is out of contract. I saw this thing up today, the best out of contract players. I think the top 3 was Daniel Sturridge, Serge Aurier and Jack Wilshere. And I see a lot of Arsenal fans saying, go and get Jack Wilshere. Listen, get him in training. Get him in training. Why not? Even if it helps him get another club, you know. Big up Theo, man. He said, man, send waffle settings. If this isn't waffle box, we need maximum points. Arteta out. I mean, listen, we need maximum points. But I'm also being realistic with the fact that we've come from 3 L's, you know, 3 defeats straight away. What divine right have we got to go and take 12 points out of them games? You know, I don't know if we all of a sudden can just turn it on like that. Now, obviously, what will make a big difference? We had Gabriel, we had Ben White, we had Tomiyasu, we had Thomas Partey, Odegaard, Ramsdale probably will be on the bench. You hope we've got a strong enough team to start building. You beat Norwich, that gives you some confidence. You go to Burnley, different kind of test. Burnley is actually one of those games where I always worry about Arsenal. I think Burnley, it's a windy ground. You know, they play a scrappy style of football, and I always just have this feeling they're going to bully us. But we have beat them there in the past. But will this team be able to handle that test? Yeah, Jack Wilshere's training in Italy at the moment, isn't he? Serie B, that's what I'm saying. You'd think he could at least get a lower half Serie A club or a low Prem club. You know, people obviously don't want to go near Jack because of the injuries. Claudio says 20 points from 24 in the next 8 games. If that happened under Arteta, mate, I'll be absolutely shell-shocked. Billy Gilmore masterclass incoming against Arsenal. And big up Richard Reed. He said, big up Big C. I'm out of contract and available as an old style centre half. Listen, we need somebody that can go and have a scrap with these Burnley players. Young Yan said, I had a dream a couple of nights ago where Arsenal lost 2-1 to Norwich. Hopefully that dream don't come true. Thank you for your super chat. That sounds more like a nightmare to me, my friend, not a dream. Let's move on. Let's hear what he had to say. He's saying all the typical things. Oh, we've looked at them for a while. You know, we knew he'd say all that. On how he will integrate the new signings, he says, again, it is a 16 or 17 changes to the squad. It is a lot. You have to blend them all together. Some of them haven't even trained with us yet because they still have to come in the next week or so as quick as possible. We have a good group. They will help them to adapt as quick as possible and get them to work with us and see when we can integrate all together. I mean, do you know what annoys me with these interviews that they do with Mikel Arteta? And I genuinely believe Arsenal don't let people say what they want to say. Arsenal are, if we're looking at size of the football club, fan base, history, all of that, I know at the moment we're far from that, but we are the third biggest club in English football. It's Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, right? In that order. Historically, obviously on the pitch, we're not doing that at the moment. If any other top six club or big six club, as I should call it, was bottom of the league, the questions would be a lot spikier than this. He's talking as if we're fourth in the league and we're laid back and we've signed a few players and yeah, we're just going to give them time to settle in. My first question would be, well, hang on a minute, Mikel. Are you feeling under pressure over the fact that a club the size of Arsenal Football Club are bottom of the league? That would be one of my first questions. You're bottom of the league. Surely you're under pressure to perform. He's talking as if everything's rosy in the garden and he can do whatever he wants. You know, I don't get the questions. Claudio said, cheers for the shout out, Curtis. One thing we need to learn to do is to play at very high aggressive press. It's way too easy to set up against us. I don't know if some of these guys have even got that kind of work rate to perform like that. Jake Snack said, filtered questions, very filtered. Very filtered. You know, you're not allowed to even ask certain things to this guy. You won't be invited to the next presser. No, they would ban you. They would ban you in one time if you said anything going against the manager. Let's have a look what he's saying here. On the signing of Tomiyasu, Big Tommy. He said, again, we followed him for a while. We needed a fullback who could be versatile. Can play as a centre-back, can play in a back three. Tommy has this capacity. He's 22 years old, but he has some really good experience in Syria and at international level with the qualities we are looking for. I mean, again, listen, sometimes you sign players on the last day of the window. You might have been trying to get them for a month. You couldn't get them and they've decided to cash in at the last minute. We signed Thomas Partey on the last day of the window last year. It just seemed like it came out of nowhere. I hope it was well planned. I hope it wasn't a panic buy. And I hope it was somebody that they was always planning on getting. Now, I saw another report in The Athletic saying that Arsenal didn't want to go for Max Aarons or Tariq Lamptey because they felt they were too small. They felt they were too small to play at right back for Arsenal, which, listen, it has changed a little bit. I think you look back in the day, you had your Ashley Coles, your Dani Alves, you know, much smaller fullbacks. Nowadays, you've got players like, you know, Wan-Bissaka. They're almost like centre-back builds at right back. But surely it's better to buy somebody that's 5'8", 5'9", that's better than somebody that's 6'2". It doesn't matter that much to me if you're tall or big, as long as you're good as a fullback. But listen, if he's good, then he's good. Oh, the Gooner said Arteta thinks Tomiyasu is a right back. A lot of people saying this to me, you know, that he's actually more of a centre back than a right back. If you look at his heat maps in Italy, very rarely does he get into the final third of the pitch. Lucas Live said, Curtis, bro, Tomiyasu is shocking, mate. Seen him live before. His crossing is awful. Arsenal needs someone like Max Aarons. I mean, you ain't filling me with confidence there. Brett said, fine with the Tommy signing. He'll bring a balance to the back. I just hope he's good enough and can obviously handle the Premier League. But again, it is an underwhelming signing, but we hope he surprises us. Tomiyasu is more of a centre back. Greg said speed and skill on the ball trumps playing in the air if you can prevent the cross. 100%. 100%. Some of the best fullbacks we've ever seen have been small. Danny Alves one of the best right backs of all time. Ashley Cole's one of the best left backs of all time. There are tons of fullbacks that were not that tall who were top quality, and then there's big ones who are not that good. So talking about the height and stuff, yeah, Roberto Carlos, 5'6", one of the best left backs of all time. He's an inverted right back. This, I think, and I'm starting to think now, that Mikel Arteta is going to take us back to 3 at the back because we're getting roasted in defence. Ben White's played in a back 3 most of the season at Brighton. I think even if Pablo Mari's in the back 3, you can protect him a little bit more. In a 4, he gets exposed and isolated. Gabriel can play it. So I get the impression we're going to go to a back 3, people. That's probably why they signed a fullback like this. Big up SB with a super chat. Really appreciate it, bro. Said Curtis Burnley is like Bolton back in the day. And the reason he was there, because Dennis Wise was the technical director. See, I remember back in the day, man, Bolton was Arsenal's bogey team, wasn't it? Sam Allardyce, going long, Kevin Davis, bang, big elbows. We couldn't cope with them. They used to bully us all the time under Wenger. Wenger would be going mad in the press conference saying they're thugs and, and Burnley are that team now. You have to learn how to deal with that. So SB, really appreciate the super chat. Tommy is a workhorse. He will add value. Have you spoke about Aurier yet? Yeah, I spoke about that. Obviously, apparently his agent wants a 4-year deal, 80 grand a week. To me, it's his agent trying to get him a move. I don't think Arsenal will sign him. I got to be honest. He said Tommy is a very good centre back. Listen, as long as he's good, that's all we care about. Philip Lahm, Cafu, Ron Harris, all people who weren't the biggest, yeah. He said, on being able to concentrate on games now, yes, there has been a lot going on. Obviously, we had big things to do, big transfer window, and compliments to the boys because I think the team has done really well to try satisfy what we could. It's all waffle. I mean, I'm being honest. It's pure waffle settings. He's just going on and on. He says a lot without really saying anything, That's kind of the best way I could describe him. He says a lot, but doesn't say hardly anything. When he goes on to speak about Tomiyasu, and he just said, we followed him for a while. He's 22, has some really good experience in Serie A, and the qualities we are looking for. I mean, time will tell. Time will tell. You never know what to think with Mikel Arteta, man. But listen, he's been backed. He's got no excuses. I said, pure waffle, people. Pure waffle. And this is my point, right? If we go with a back 3, where does Kieran Tierney play? Because I think Tierney's better in the back 3 than playing wing back. I saw him the other day at wing back, and I didn't like him there. I think left side centre back. I would like to see a back 3 of Kieran Tierney, Gabriel, and Ben White. That for me would be the back 3. But if he plays that Tomiyasu, or does he play Tomiyasu as the wing back? It's going to be interesting. Anelka scoring bangers. I used to love Anelka, man. Pure Waffle House Arteta speaking, I'm telling you. Josh said, on my break, Curtis, I got half an hour till I finish work. You should stay live till 5 o'clock. Bro, when there's enough to talk about, we stay live for a long time. It's a little bit more quiet at the moment. Picture special. Arsenal beat Brentford. The PR continues. The way they was talking about it, man, I couldn't believe it. I thought we'd won the league or something. But they said it's something to build off, I suppose. But we're going to need a lot more than that. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I do definitely think Arsenal will go to a back 3. I just can't see him sticking with this 4. We're getting opened up, conceding goals. You got a lot of defenders that are comfortable in the back 3. And I do think he will change it. He's talking here. Do you know what? There's a big article on The Athletic, and I'm going to have to get into it a little bit further. They're kind of talking about everything that's been done, and apparently Edu's that. Oh, it's crazy. Let me show you this picture. Actually, go and check this article out if you've got The Athletic, people. I was reading some of it before I came online, but it was saying under Edu's instructions, it was Garlic who brokered the players' contracts. Arsenal have inserted an optional extra year on the deals of each of their summer signings, granting the club more flexibility and agency in their squad planning. I mean, listen, Garlic by name, Garlic by nature, man. He'd been stinking out the Emirates this season. Listen, I wish they'd done them year options 5 years ago. We would have still probably had an Alexis Sanchez. You know, they've taken a long time to do this. The fact that the players like Lacazette and those guys are going to leave next summer, at least they're learning their lesson. So I big up Richard Garlick in that sense, you know, because you do need to protect your new signings and protect your club. You can then insert that year option. I think Man United did it with the likes of Eric Bailly, with Pogba. Their contracts actually run out and then they can trigger another 1 year. And it protects the club. And they need to do this. But it needed to happen earlier, you know, for all the garlic breads. The goal of the month is a joke. Yeah, I was talking about that earlier, man. We had to put all sorts of goals in there to get ourselves out of it. Yeah, I just saw this actually, Jake. Big up everyone in New York, New Jersey area. Floods, people losing houses and their life. Stay safe out there, man. I see there's extreme flooding in the New York and New Jersey area. So anybody out there, or anybody who's got people out there, hope you're safe and well, people. It looks crazy out there. JC said, boycott the sponsors. Don't fly Emirates. Don't wear Adidas. Don't visit Rwanda. Oh man, listen, we're gonna have to do a lot if we're gonna stop the sponsors. You know, take a lot more than that. But yeah, this article is definitely worth reading. They're really peddling the PR in this one. You know, what they said here: this summer, Arsenal have fully dispensed with the inclusion of image rights in new player deals. Only one remaining senior player has those, and it is a contract granted by a previous regime. It'll be interesting to know what player that was. So people have got no player rights anymore to the image rights. Mikel Arteta said, once fees were agreed, it was Arteta who charged with making phone calls to players, informing them of his plans and persuading them to join Arsenal. In some cases, he spoke with players multiple times, explaining how he saw them fitting into his tactical system. Ah, dear me. Can you imagine those phone calls, people? I mean, to be honest, let's be honest, and I'm not being disrespectful to our new signings, but I'm just keeping it real. You shouldn't have had to do much phone calls to convince the players that we signed this summer. If you're Arsenal, you shouldn't have to do much to convince Nuno Tavares, backup left back at Benfica. Aaron Ramsdale playing mid-table in the Championship at Sheffield United. Sambi Lokonga, young player at Anderlecht. You know, Ben White's at Brighton. You wouldn't have to. This ain't like when Alexis Sanchez said, Arsene Wenger rang me and spoke Spanish and convinced me to join Arsenal. Like, that probably did take a good phone call. These phone calls should have been light work. Yeah, maybe Odegaard, you would have had to give a bit of a phone call. The rest of them should have been easy. So they're making it like, it's an Arteta masterclass that he came swooping in and the phone call convinced every player to join Arsenal. Like, I could have convinced Aaron Ramsdale to leave Sheffield United, who were mid-table in the Championship, to join Premier League Arsenal and treble his wages. He was on 20 grand a week. We've given him 60. That's not difficult for me to sell. So the Athletic are part of the PR machine at Arsenal, I'm afraid. You know, I think they feed these stories into them and they just run them out in the hope that it will hypnotize people. You know, I don't buy into all that. You know, if we'd signed a couple of world-class players this summer, I would applaud this and say, you know what, Arteta convinced him. All right, cool. I'll give you credit. I don't think he deserves credit for convincing a Championship player to come to Arsenal and treble his wages. You know, so Joseph Connor Golden, big up, bro. He said, big up, Curtis, bro. Love your content. Come on, you Gunners. Come on, man. We have to improve. 60K a week, garlic out. Do you know what I'm saying, bro? Listen, give him his due. Yeah, you've made the phone call. You've convinced a player. Do you believe, people, that it's difficult to convince a guy from Sheffield United to join Arsenal when you're trebling his wages, or a guy who's sitting on the bench at Benfica to come to Arsenal and double his wages? It's not difficult, you know. This PR machine is powerful. I give them that. It's a powerful machine. and they're really, defending Arteta. Again, it said, with the list of targets finalised, it falls to Arteta and Edu to decide upon what action to take. The case of Odegaard was one of absolute consensus. His loan spell had convinced everyone of his quality and strength of character. I mean, it seems like they completely wanted this guy. This was the top target all summer. They were desperate to get Odegaard over anyone else, and I think that's why they never truly made a serious move for the likes of Maddison or anyone else, because I think they wanted to wait right until the end of the transfer window to see if they could convince Odegaard to leave Real Madrid. I think what fell into their hands was Carlo Ancelotti taking over. Carlo Ancelotti does not predominantly play with a number 10. So Odegaard was finished. Apparently, he'd been told he was the 8th choice midfielder at Real Madrid. Number 8th choice. They took his number 21 shirt off him. Ancelotti didn't want nothing to do with him. He once called him a gimmick in his autobiography, saying that Real Madrid signed him as a PR stunt and as a gimmick. So he clearly was never a big fan of him. I know he's grown up a lot since then and he's much older. So it kind of fell into their hands with this deal. But he was clearly the top target. So again, he has to perform. Kerner said James from Arsblog wrote that pure propaganda. Oh, my days. Listen, they've got quite high ratings at Arsblog. But yeah, I haven't actually had too much interaction with those guys. Adrian Wright, big up, bro, said Arteta doesn't impose his will as manager. Top managers have a mentality of a champion boxer. They fight their fight, and you have to adapt to them. Now, that is something I agree with. And I've said many times, Arsenal need a leader as manager and technical director. Then you will see a change in the philosophy and the style of the players, So yeah, they go on to say the additions of Lokonga and Nuno Tavares, meanwhile, were heavily influenced by Edu's scouting department. Edu has a scouting department. I mean, I thought his scouting department was purely Kia Jarapchin's phone book. I thought that was all he had. Arteta even went so far as to thank the recruitment team for pointing him in Tavares' direction. It is, for the most part, a very collaborative process. Oh, my days. These two, I'm telling you, these two guys. Nuno, I'm going to let you off, because, you look like a young player, got pace, good pedigree, to be fair. But these two guys, either side of him, Dumb and Dumber settings for real, these two. Honestly, man's thanking him. Oh, my God, thank you. You found me a backup left back. Like, is that really that difficult to find in the market? I'm sure there are plenty of left backs around the world that we could have brought in. Like I said, Nuno Tavares looks all right. But are we making a big deal out of it? Like, oh, thank you so much for finding me Nuno Tavares. You've saved my job. What I want to know, if Edu is that bad, who the hell is his scouting department? Because if you work under a guy like that, I don't know what kind of scouting you're doing. Them travel agents. Stackademic said, do you honestly rate Odegaard, Curtis? As I've said before, talented, yes. In the right style, with the right setup, I think he would be effective. Do I think that is the number 10 attacking midfielder that we should have signed? I would say no. If we were playing like Wenger football 5 years ago, 6 years ago, with your Cazorlas and players like that, I think Odegaard would look like a baller. But in this Arteta philosophy, whatever that is, I just don't think Odegaard will stand out. Maybe, Norwich at home, when we dominate the ball and we're moving it, he will look brilliant. But away at Anfield or away at Man United or City, I think he will become a passenger because we don't keep the ball well enough. So for me, good player, not the signing I would have made with this style. Yeah, the PR is strong. If only our management and tactics were as good as our PR, man, because they are absolutely strong, I'm telling you. So, yeah, I'm sure he gave him a massive thanks for that. And however, the indications are that Arteta has ultimately wielded the most influence. I mean, he should. He is the manager. While White and Tomiyasu were both approved by all departments, it was Arteta's testimony that convinced the hierarchy to proceed with those deals. So basically, how I'm taking that, and I could be wrong, I'm taking that Edu and those guys weren't convinced by Ben White or Tomiyasu. That's what I would say, because Arteta has had to convince them to do that. And big up John Layout. He said, Edu Thomas Cook gas bar from Edu's wife. Yeah, she was doing that, wasn't she, to the fans the other week. So clearly they weren't all convinced by Ben White and Tomiyasu. That's what I'm taking out of that. As I said in the last one, it's saying that Lokonga and Tavares were kind of picked up by Edu's scouting in Mansell Holiday Inn scouting department, where it looks like Ben White and Tomiyasu were maybe Mikel Arteta influenced signings. And I can understand why. I haven't seen enough of Tomiyasu, so I can't make a full judgment on him. What I will say, I would have gone for somebody like a Max Aarons who's played in the Premier League before, could have adjusted quicker. I think they've gone for Tomiyasu because I think they want to play through at the back. And Ben White at 50 million, I would imagine Edu would have been saying there's better value in the European market or maybe the South American market than 50 million on a Ben White. So yeah, this Athletic article is crazy. It really is. They go on to say Arsenal accept they have paid a premium for the English peer of Ben White and Aaron Ramsdale. In both instances, it was Arteta who urged the club to complete the deal. So he actually pushed for Ramsdale as well. They believe, however, English premium works both ways when they come to leave Arsenal. So this is what I said earlier. I understand when you sign a player and you're thinking to yourself, okay, in the future, if it comes to it and we have to sell him, we can earn some money. But sometimes you have to sign a player that just comes into your team right now, improves you, makes you a better team. Manchester United have not signed Ronaldo for sell-on value. They haven't signed Varane for sell-on value. Chelsea are probably not even thinking about Lukaku at sell-on value. He's 28. You give him 4 years. He's 32. You ain't going to get much money at 32. But they've bought him because of what he offers them right now. As I said this summer, I will call this transfer window the Bitcoin transfer window for Arsenal. This is the investment transfer window. We have signed players with an aim of selling them down the line for profit. They want this crypto to boom and explode. That's what Arteta said. Next year, this project will explode. These are investments. These are players that will possibly not see the best of them until they've been at the club for a year, 18 months. They probably won't even be working under Arteta at that time, to be honest. So I just think we've gone too much on the investments. We should have got 2 or 3 players that for certain, bang, they're going to improve this team. South London's Finest said, that's the thing right there. You have left Arteta to come in and run things at Arsenal, as no one in the club got any backbone. Weak, he will not be sacked anytime soon. His feet is firmly under the table. They've given him full control, along with Edu, and that is dangerous. It took Arsene Wenger years to get that kind of responsibility and earning that trust. How come Arteta's just come in and gone, oh, thanks, mate, I'll run everything from here? And this is where you have to ask questions of Stan Kroenke. A lot of people defend Stan. Oh, but Stan's given us all this money to spend this summer. But Stan is not keeping an eye on what is going off at the football club. If you owned a £2.5 billion business, why would you give a guy that has never managed that much responsibility on his shoulders? He's not in a position to deal with that. He should be getting told the players he's signing or have a say, but not have total control. So the whole way that the football club is being ran is the problem. Does he have an experienced, top quality, top level technical director to lean on in the transfer market? No, he doesn't. He has Edu, who, as I said, was a glorified travel agent for the Brazilian national team. He doesn't know the role he's doing either. He's learning himself. You can't have 2 people learning together in this kind of pressure cooker situation that Arsenal are in. And that's why I think a lot of our business has been misguided in this transfer market. And as you can see, they're having to convince each other of the players. Arteta's having to convince Edu that we should sign Ramsdale and sign Ben White. So this is the problem. And this is why I think Edu will go before Mikel Arteta. Because he'll probably just say, no, I didn't agree with some of them deals. Because to be fair, if Edu signed Nuno Tavares and Lokonga and Mikel Arteta signed Ben White, Ramsdale and Tomiyasu, at the moment, you would say that Edu did the better business because Lokonga looks a real prospect and only cost 17 million. Tavares looks decent for 8 million. He spent big money on Ben White, 50 million, 30 million on Ramsdale, and 20 million on Tomiyasu. Obviously, they may become good, but he's signed the riskier players, in my opinion. Mikel is guessing, 100%. Nevin Street said, Curtis, you're a real Jenny. You know your ting, bro. Hey, big up, man. I appreciate it. We all like to think we're football experts, but we're all learning. That's the great thing about it, Craig said, Dr. Shaw spitting facts. I'm relaxed at the moment, to be fair. No Arsenal. I feel way more chilled. International break. Maybe we needed it. But yeah, this article is just really... And then this is where you've just got to cut it all off, because this is where I just think... I wouldn't be surprised if Mikel Arteta wrote this article himself. This is where they're trying to convince people that Ben White they're justifying it as a better deal than Varane. Now, as I said, if it's Bitcoin, then I understand it. If it's an investment, I understand it. But this is football. We're talking about improving your side and going up the league, winning trophies, getting back into Europe. All or nothing is going to be fire. I reckon they'll have to ban that, mate. That'll finish the club when that comes out. I'm going to be doing watch-alongs of that when that comes out, of each episode, I'm telling you. Shane said, big up Big C is a liability, bro. I was keen for him to come to LFC and did a lot of research before Trent Alexander-Arnold. He doesn't know when to press, always looks lost, and of course his aggression is flawed. I'm assuming you're talking about... are you talking about Tomiyasu or Ben White? I'm assuming you're talking about Tomiyasu if you're on about a right back, and you're talking about Trent. But no, I appreciate your comment. 80k for Ben Sprite. Man said Ben Sprite, Oh, my days. Sam the Man said, love the content. Curtis makes sense and he's realistic. I appreciate that, bro. Buenos Aires Guna, they're putting business first, football second, 100%. And as you can see here, they're going... Ben White may have commanded a higher transfer fee than Raphael Varane, but he's understood to earn less than a third of his wage. White earns around 80k per week with bonuses, while Varane's salary at United is at least 300k per week. I mean, number one, I could be wrong here, but I heard that Varane was on around 240. And what I don't understand what the point of this is. Why would an Arsenal writer bring up Varane in this debate? I don't understand where he's got. You can't win this debate until Ben White has 4 years at a top level and does all sorts of quality. How can we have that debate? He can't even lace the shoes of Varane in terms of what he's achieved in his career. So it makes absolutely no sense. They're just making themselves look stupid with this. I don't get it. I don't know where they're trying to go. Over the next 4 years, including a baseline fee of 34 million, Varane could cost United a gross of 100 million, and he will be 32. In the same period, White could cost Arsenal closer to 67 mil, and he will be 27 and ought to still have considerable value on the market. I mean, who wrote this article? That's what I need to know. Who wrote this? As Mikel Arteta actually wrote this himself, it's crazy. It's ludicrous. And I'm not talking about the rapper from Atlanta. This is ludicrous. They need to stop. We just need to concentrate on football. I don't care about... Varane's got nothing to do with Arsenal. Man United have not signed Varane with a thought process of, but in 4 years, we need to sell him and make 40 million back on him. They've signed him and said, listen, Harry Maguire needs an athlete next to him, somebody experienced who understands the game. Varane has a huge reputation. He's a World Cup winner. I think 4 Champions Leagues he's won at Madrid. This ain't about investment. This is about improving their team on the pitch. We're basically trying to say, Ben White's a better signing than Varane. We're making ourselves look stupid. They need to stop doing things like this. Seriously, this doesn't help. This doesn't help when you're bottom of the league. You can't say things like this. You know, Brett said, but which team is going to get trophies? And we all know who's going to get trophies. And it won't be us, unfortunately, because of the manager. And this kind of stuff that they're spewing out, trying to brainwash people. Because people will read this and go, you're right, Ben White's a better signing than Varane because we can sell him. Well, does that help us? We need him on the pitch performing at a high level. Crazy, absolutely crazy. Anderson said, yeah, he's on 240. I think it was printed. So they're even lying about how much money the guy's on to try and justify it. They need to start doing more action and less talking. This is the problem at Arsenal. We talk too much. Mike Howard, appreciate your super chat, bro. Said it's funny how they back Arteta, but when it came to Unai Emery, they didn't want to give him Zaha or Ziyech, and to believe he played for Barcelona, no wonder they never used him. I mean, listen, I don't want to slaughter him as a player, you know, but he was a panic buy for Arsenal, and I think he was a panic appointment of a manager. But this article is beyond embarrassing, honestly. If I was Arsenal, I would have told the Athletic not to put this out. Don't do this. Man United, they've started the season well. They've signed Ronaldo. We're at the bottom. We're struggling. Let's just keep quiet. Get your head down and on the training ground and focus on business. We're trying to convince fans that Ben White's a better signing than Varane, man. Please, just relax. Luda! Yeah, I'm telling you. Area code settings, man. We just need Nate Dogg back. Rest in peace, man. But these, man, are just wild. I said, move, get out the club. I'm telling you, get this guy out of it. This is nuts. Yella said Varane is worth 80 million. In 4 years, in 4 years he would still be 80 million. I mean, listen, he's got pedigree. United don't care if he's worth 80 million, 10 million in 4 years. They want to win a title. They want to get back to the top. If they win a title, it doesn't matter how much you've paid him, 100 million over how many years. It's worth every penny. You know, so they need to stop doing things like this. It doesn't help us. We're trying our best to just keep our head down as fans and concentrate on winning. Remember when Willian signed, he said, Arteta gave me a 3-year deal because he said he wants to win the Champions League in 3 years. I mean, I don't know if we're going to win the Champions League bottom of the Prem. You know, it needs to get us a bit higher up first. Randy Viper said, from winning Champions League promise to Project Youth. And we remember Project Youth, people. We remember Project Youth. Do you remember Arsene Wenger with the 5 of them? And he's standing behind them. Cole Jenkinson, Jack Wilshere, Kieran Gibbs, Oxlade-Chamberlain, all sitting there. You know, Project Youth. We've got all these great young English players. How did that work out for us, people? It didn't work out for us at all. All of them guys left the football club and we didn't make hardly any money out of any of them. You know, so they need to stop this. They need to stop with this waffle. Is there any more? Please tell me they've stopped. Yeah, there you go. They've stopped. But damn, they went in. I need to know who wrote that article. I'm telling you, because whoever wrote that is delusional. You're just putting pressure on the football club that's not necessary. We don't need that. We just need to concentrate on playing and grinding out a few victories, one step at a time, people. We don't need to be talking about, Ben White's a better signing than Varane. And Kia Jarapchin apparently helped broker the deal with Martin Odegaard. And a lot more stuff's coming out of the Athletic as we speak, people. And does that surprise me? No, because you know, well, I don't want to start saying things here, but brown envelopes, anybody? Edu was probably like, listen, I don't want no James Maddison. I don't want no one. I want this deal because if I get Kia Jarapchin to do this deal, we all get a nice little bag out of this, yeah? We all get a nice holiday and we're all good. You'll all get brown envelopes under the table, yeah? Where's Kia Jarapchin coming out of? Kia Jarapchin isn't even Martin Odegaard's agent, people. The deal to sign Odegaard was one where Arsenal were prepared to wait And they had to. When Odegaard saw the writing on the wall, he was more than happy to rejoin Arsenal. Kia Jarapchin helped broker the transfer, representing Real Madrid as an intermediary. I knew it. I knew it, people. I knew it wasn't just because this guy is this supreme player that they think's going to make all the difference at Arsenal. Edu was saying, get them envelopes out, yeah? They got rid of Raul because of the brown envelopes, but because Edu and Arteta have all the control now, there's no one to tell off them, no one to snitch. Yeah, they can keep it in-house. Brown envelopes everywhere, people. I knew Kia Jarapchin would be around somewhere. Remember what they said? Edu Scouting Department, a.k.a. Kia Jarapchin, people. I knew it. I knew it. Kia helped broker the deal. Kia was like, listen, man, don't worry, Edu. I got you, man. We'll meet at this, junction just off the M1. You and Arteta come and meet me. They just exchange envelopes and just walk off, You know how it goes, people. I knew this guy, Edu, is in this guy's pocket. Literally in his pocket, people. I'm telling you. I knew it was too good to be true. We want Odegaard so much. He's the perfect midfielder for us. No wonder he's been on 4 holidays this summer. Curtis with the T. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, Kia is not somebody you want to have major power within your football club. Listen, a lot of top clubs work with top agents now. It happens. You've seen George Mendes at Wolves. Mino Raiola had a huge influence at Man United when Jose Mourinho was there, getting the likes of Pogba, Lukaku, Mkhitaryan, and all these players. Eric Bailly, I believe, was his as well. But Kia Jarapchin doesn't have a list of great players. A lot of his players are washed-up players, like Willian and players like that. So, yeah. I'm not surprised at all. Post office settings, man. Stamping a brown envelope, people. I knew it. But, hey, it is what it is, people. But I'm not surprised. What else we got before we get out of here, people? It looked as if Mohamed Elneny was on his way out of the door. But I think this deal has possibly been sabotaged now, people. Besiktas, because of course the Turkish transfer market is open for another 5 days. So players can still be sold from around the world to the Turkish league. Now, Besiktas had attempted to negotiate the deal of Mohamed Elneny, and apparently they wanted the deal to be done quickly. However, this deal looks as if it will not happen now, as they have signed Pjanic from Barcelona on loan until the end of the season. I mean, Pjanic is a different level to Mohamed Elneny. So I think that deal will stop any potential deal. Now, there are still rumours that Galatasaray may come in for Mohamed Elneny. Apparently, they've been looking at him as well. And I would like to think that we can get him out the door. He's out of contract in 10 months. But the problem we've got now, we're probably a little bit short in midfield. In the middle of midfield now, you've got Xhaka, you've got Partey, and you've got Lokonga. So they're probably going to keep Elneny and let him run down his contract. I just hope they don't give him a new contract, because he is not worth a new contract at all. Yeah, listen, I would have taken Pjanic on loan. I got to be honest. I know he's in his 30s now, but as a ball-playing centre mid, he's far better than anything we've got. So again, why did Arsenal not go to Barcelona, who were desperate to get rid of players this summer? They've let Griezmann go for 35, 40 million to Atletico on loan with an option to buy for 40 million. Pjanic on loan for the year. No brainer. Experience, good on the ball. Here's what it is. B-Boy Sabotage, Curtis Music reactions would be top. Listen, as the channel gets bigger and better, people, we will take this in different directions. I like a lot of things. I like music, and we could do other things. So we will definitely do different things as the channel grows, and I may start doing some stuff on Twitch with FIFA 22 as well, because I'm probably going to order a PS5. So we're going to do loads of stuff, man. So yeah, music reaction videos. Obviously, I was listening to Kanye West's album yesterday. I had Drake's album on this morning. So, yeah, there's loads of stuff we could do, man, on this channel. This is what I'm saying, man. We're a different channel to a lot of others, people. Shravan said, your favorite Jamaican food? I love jerk chicken, man. I love jerk chicken. That's probably my favorite, if I'm honest. Stories about your football career would be great, Big C. You know what? Sometimes I just end up going into them anyway. You see, when me and Fran was on here the other day, we just end up doing a football story and stuff like that. I said, why not a second channel, Curtis, for all the other things? Yeah, possibly. We'll look at that. Maybe we'll do that instead. What do you guys think of the albums? Donda is legendary, said Noel. It's decent. What is your favorite era of hip hop? Me is early 2000s. I'm early 2000. That whole, like, I know we're going off topic here, people, but that whole New York sound, that, when it was like, when 50 Cent was blowing up, early G Unit days, you had D Block, you had Dipset, Mobb Deep. I'm a New York hip hop fan. New York hip hop is my favorite hip hop. Listen, I love West Coast sound and all that. I love hip hop from all over, but that, when New York hip hop was dominant, them times, Jay-Z, Nas, Mobb Deep, 50, D Block, Dipset, that for me, listen, I've turned into what my elders in the family were saying. They used to say to me, oh, this ain't like what we were listening to. I'm now saying that to my kids when I'm listening to Future and, Young Thug and all of that. I'm like, what kind of mumble rap is this? This ain't like what I listen to. Obviously, Pac and Biggie as well. I got to be honest. I'm a Tupac fan, man. I'm a Tupac fan. I can't lie. Biggie or Tupac. Listen, I love Biggie as well. One of the best storytellers ever. But I'm a Tupac fan, man. His music, I feel like, was a bit more, I don't know. I felt like I had a bit more, how could I say it? Like emotion and feeling to it. DMX, all of that. Warren G, Dre. Yeah, listen. I used to love that album. Yeah, but that kind of era of hip hop for me, late 90s, early 2000s, New York, it was too much, man. We all had the baggy white t-shirts on in the summer, white Air Force Ones, baggy jeans, we all thought it was that New York swag. All about 90s West Coast, Tupac, Snoop. Listen, it was powerful. And I'm a Tupac fan, so, I did mess with that West Coast sound as well, but that New York, man, that was powerful. You and Fran talking on your careers the other day was quality content. It was. We got some great stories, man. We'll definitely allude on more football stories, man, as we go through. Tupac, the conscious rapper. Yeah, I like conscious Pac, not the wild one. Locks v Dipset, bro. I've watched it about 10 times. Even now, I still occasionally go back and watch that versus battle, man. That's the best versus so far, to be honest. And I was shocked the way Dipset got smashed apart. Jadakiss masterclass. I'm just checking before we get out of here. Anything else going on? Not really. That's probably it for Arsenal. That's probably it. Just looking here. Nah, not a lot going on, people. Yeah, obviously someone asking about the England game last night. I'm not surprised. What happened. Sterling racially abused by the Hungarian fans yesterday. I mean, will UEFA, FIFA do anything about it? They don't care about it because unfortunately it doesn't affect them. So until it starts affecting their pockets, that's the only time you'll see a change of attitude from them. But listen, Sterling, he just keeps answering in the right way. Score a goal, get an assist. That picture of him standing there was powerful, man. Man standing here and, they're throwing bottles at him. It was powerful, man. But the powers that be won't do anything about it, unfortunately. Wenger stream will be next week. Don't worry. I promised you before we finish the international break, Wenger stream, a member stream will be Monday around 12:30 Buenos Aires. Keep an eye on the community page. We'll do that Monday around 12:30. So look out for that. People, I will be back tomorrow. What day is it tomorrow? Saturday. Yeah, around the usual time. Should be back. Look out for it. I'll be back tomorrow. We might do some international watch-alongs, actually. I'm going to look in the fixtures and see if there's any decent games worth doing. I see Jamaica lost 2-1 to Mexico last night. That was disappointing, but they've called up the likes of Mikel Antonio and that for the next game. Yeah, I will try and get Turkish on the Wenger stream as well. Yeah, so I will definitely I will definitely get him on. Listen, enjoy your Friday, people. Apologies for the sound issues at the start of the stream, man. The wire was rampant, so hopefully should be sorted moving forward. And I will see you all tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Take care, and I will see you tomorrow. Bless.